Good morning, market steppers. Welcome back. This is Jesse, getting started right at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Not quite right on the dot, but pretty close, pretty close. So if you're new to the channel, awesome, welcome. If you're returning, even better. And obviously, none of this is financial advice. Hopefully, you find some education. Hopefully, you have some entertainment along the way. TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. And here we go. We're going to get rocking and rolling. Bitcoin weekly sell signal pending, right? This is the Heikinashi. So we're going to get into all of that. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah. Help me. Help you. Help me. Smash the like button. Hit the repost button. Throw an emoji, a comment, everything. First half of the live stream, we'll cover Bitcoin, altcoins. Some of the altcoins look like they're about to bounce. We talked about this yesterday. What if Bitcoin dominance were to start dropping? And altcoins have been crushed, right? So we're going to get into that today too. Stay tuned. We talked about it yesterday. We'll cover it again today. Yo. So before we get rocking and rolling, let's come over here and do what we say, right? Come over here, hit the like button, hit the repost button, hit the emoji, something, comment, do something, help me out, and then pending buy signals on some altcoins while BTC.D is starting to drop. What you think? We covered it on yesterday's live stream, and we'll cover it again today. Yep. So we'll get into all of that. Stay tuned. And let's see what the results are right now. Only 150-ish. Let's see. 154 votes so far. I just posted like 21 minutes ago. So far, 21% bounce, 34% mini alt season, 24% still hoping for the full alt season. And then, of course, you got the 21% or 20% that alts died, right? So majority seems to be hopeful of a mini alt season. Second is people are still hoping for the full alt season. I would love a full alt season, but it's hard to say what a mini alt season looks like versus a bounce. So let's get into all of that. Let's get into all of that today. So with that, let's get rocking and rolling. I don't have much water left, so probably going to go hard and fast on thank God it's Friday. Got a lot of work to do, and the nanny's only here for 6 hours on Fridays. So instead of the normal 8, Monday through Thursday. So 6 hours today. So got a shorter day. Got a lot of things got to get knocked out. Nice. All right, cool. So we covered this already. Early in the week, there was a pending sell signal on the weekly chart on the Heikinashi. If you go to candles, there was already a sell signal, and then there was a buy signal, but it looked more like it was a back test of the trending dots. Trending dots are now red. And so did we buy the buy signal? No, we didn't. And then it got rejected and started to come back off. And now we have another pending sell signal. We had another pending sell signal here. The previous week as well. And then early in this week, we already had another pending sell signal. And now we're back down to $101,000 Bitcoin as of right now. So that's the weekly candles, the Heikinashi. is good for like visual, you know, a lot of times at tops or bottoms, you'll see like a Heikin-Ashi like indecision candle, doji candle. Um, I don't I didn't go down deep into the rabbit hole on all the candle. I know all the candle patterns and regular patterns and stuff, but I never felt the need to take a deep dive on it. But I still am aware of it all, right? Still aware of it all. So this is what we're looking at. Pending sell signal on the weekly chart. One thing, if you look at, let's just turn on all the targets. So put out this Heikin-Ashi. Don't expect the fractal to play out exactly right. That would be too easy. But it's just an idea of what it could look like, and you know, maybe this like potential head and shoulder, future head and shoulders pattern plays out. It's possible, right? If it were to play out, just say it'll bring you back down to target 5. Similar thing happened in when we were calling out the top on $61,000 Bitcoin in the end of 2021. And price came all the way back down to target 5, right? Price came all the way back to target 5. We don't know if it will again. In previous bear markets, Bitcoin has gone at least 30% below the 200-week moving average. Target 5 would bring you all the way down to 29% below it. I don't know. We don't know if it's going to play out exactly like it has in the past, or similar to like it has in the past. I don't expect it to play out exactly as it did in the past, but similar targets, similar timing is all possible, right? It's been, price has gone lesser to the upside over the cycles, and price has gone slightly less to the downside on cycles like the bear market. So, what that would look like to me is, come back to target 4, retest the 200-week moving average, and then see if we're going to get wicks below, see if we're going to get candles below, closes below, and see if we get another wick into target 4, and then see if they give us bullish divergence at the bottom again, right? That would be great. They gave us bullish divergence at the bottom of 2022. We were ready for it. We were calling it out. In the entire 2022 bear market, I was saying, please give the snipers one more bull run. Let's make them whole, right? A lot of them didn't sell the top. Because I started the Discord in the first quarter, towards the end of the first quarter. And so by the time people came in, it was already into the second quarter of 2022. Some end up selling here after I was talking about shorting Ethereum on that bounce. This is the 2022 fractal, right? So shorted the bounce, but instead of shorting Bitcoin, I shorted Ethereum. And I thought there were reasons why Ethereum could go below $1,000. In hindsight, it did. And there are reasons why Bitcoin can come back to the 200-week moving average at 55,000. There are other reasons why Bitcoin could come back to 55,000. There are other reasons why Bitcoin could come back to $40,000. Not just my drawings on the chart, not just my own targets, not just, blah, blah, blah. But also there's a lot of low leverage, long billions. Like, I think it's like last time I looked, I haven't looked in a while because it never tells you the direction, right? Never tells you the direction. It's just, I would use it as like a target, right? But there's a lot of long liquidations, and they get built up a lot from like Like it starts at like 75,000. Uh, so if it were to like price come down, bounce around for a couple of months or 45 to 60 days, who knows, right? Around target two, and then breaks down below, like say if this was a head and shoulders pattern and it broke the neckline from 75,000 to, you know, 49, 45,000 would probably happen fairly quickly, right? Um, because there's a lot of low leverage, long liquidations, right? And then plus pull, shorts pile in and blah, blah, blah. And what happens is everyone wanted to start shorting Bitcoin in 2022 around this time of the fractal and like really confident at shorting, really confident. And I started to get less confident, right? I will I will continue to get less confident in shorting Bitcoin if we break this level. Like, yes, it'd be a great short, but as everyone gets excited to or wants to short Bitcoin, it's usually right around this area, right? And that was true in 2022. And I became less confident, right? Could you still short it? Yeah. But when you're getting towards the top, I'm getting less confident at taking longs, right? Still took this long here back in April. I posted a chart April 11th. I still took that long on a swing trade, but I was less confident than when I was at 16,800, right? And as time goes on, any buy the dip scenario, I become less and less confident. The reversal, I'm getting more and more confident as the days go on. Not as confident on October 8th, right? When I posted that first chart with the idea of price going back to 75,000, um, and talking about the bearish divergence and all that. But as time goes on, you get more confident. I would get less confident and I would start to lose like shorting confidence down here, right? And so again, all the bears will get loud, right? Everyone will be bearish. Everyone's not bearish right now. Most of the people in my timeline are still bullish, if not ultra bullish, or are uncertain. Even if they say they're bullish, even if they say they're, to the moon, either they really don't know, they don't have money invested, or they're gonna get, you know, they're doing it for clicks, whatever the case may be. Like there's a multiple reasons why, but uh there were so many large accounts on Twitter and stuff that were ultra bullish still here. Still thought the bull run was on, right? Still thought the bull run was on. And I was talking about short the bounce, short the bounce. And these large accounts are selling educational courses and blah blah blah, all that. And they're certified, right? Certified. They're selling courses, like they're TA certified, all that. And they were super bullish. Super bullish. I remember. I'm not going to call out any names, but if you've been following me long enough, you probably remember me calling them out. Yeah. I mean, it'd potentially be a good time to buy, right? Potentially like a market sniper in the Discord private direct message me. He's been in for 3.5 years. And he's like, so like he's a permable, right? But he's been in the Discord for like 3 years plus, and he's a permable for sure. Tesla permable too. But he took profits on Bitcoin over $100,000, above the $100,000 price. And it's hard to do, right? It's hard to do when you believe in an asset so much, right? You believe in it so much, it's hard to let it go, right? And so I just look at it from like a swing trading standpoint. And from a swing trading standpoint, uh, I'm all into it towards the bottom, like when it's a good time to buy. I'm out of it when it looks like it's a good time to sell and buy back at a lower price. And the unpopular view, the unpopular, because Bitcoin is going to save the world, right? The unpopular view is that the true value is the 200-week moving average, and not just of Bitcoin, but of all assets. And the reason why I say that is because it's a slow moving average. And so price will go multiple deviations away from it. Could take years, right? Bitcoin last touched it, broke out back here in October 2023, right? So we're looking at 2 years extended away from the 200-week moving average. One of the longest ones I've seen is Apple, and it was like 4 or 5 years. It did come back to it and almost touched it like every 2 years, but didn't touch it. Like, but all the other ones come back to it and or go below it, right? And Bitcoin has done that in the past. So if the true value of Bitcoin is this 200-week moving average is about 56,000 right now, and maybe it's 60,000 by the time Bitcoin retests it, then that would be, in my opinion, not financial advice, my opinion, that's the true value, and that's the buy, right? That's the buy. And once it goes multiple deviations above it, like it just did over a 2-year period, it's typically a great time to sell. You're talking about 300% from where it broke out of the 200-week moving average. And right now, it's still currently, by the time the moving average got up, still was 130% above, and now it's still 92% above. So if you look at it, Bitcoin is in a long-term bullish uptrend, right? Long-term bullish uptrend. So my thought process is, instead of like DCing all the time or DCing blah blah blah, it's like I'd rather, like, going into a bear market, right? I would not DCA, like DCing in a bull market, okay. DCing in a bear market, not for me. Not for me. I'd rather just wait for the trend to turn around, and it'll take some time for the trend to flip around. It'll take some time for the ship to get turned around. It's a big carrier, right? And in the past, we've seen bullish divergence at the bottom. In the past, we've seen bearish divergence at the top. In the past, we've seen bearish divergence at the top, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So hopefully we get bullish divergence at the bottom, makes life a lot easier. But if not, we'll be waiting for a higher probability of a reversal. And I'm confident that I will see that in the future. And so we'll see what happens, because there's never a guarantee, right? We're looking at Bitcoin as an upsloping 200-week moving average. There are several altcoins, and the case is there's several, they're altcoins, right? But Cardano, Chainlink, multiple altcoins that have a down sloping 200-week moving average, right? So wouldn't want to see Bitcoin go into a downward sloping 200-week moving average, but it's possible, right? It wouldn't be good long term. It wouldn't be good to still be holding Bitcoin if at some point we see a 200-week moving average, because something's new, something's different. We've never seen Bitcoin in a downward sloping 200-week moving average. It's only been around, what, 15, 16, 17, 15, 17 years, right? And the 200-week moving average, depending on what exchange you're looking at, has only been around since 2021. There's other ones, I think, but so there's not a lot of chart history, is what I'm trying to say. So if there was at one point, right? So if you kind of draw this out and maybe it kind of flat lines, you can see it would take like 6 to 9 months for it to kind of flatten out. And if price were coming back down here, it would start to flatten out. And if price remained for a lot longer and we're not going into another typical bull run type of scenario, then it's possible you start to see a downward sloping 200-week moving average for the very first time, right? And that's something you wouldn't want to see if you're hoping for the next bull run. And what I said was I hope that the snipers get one more bull run, and that was in 2022. And because things change, right? Things change. And so there's never a guarantee. And if there is, awesome. We will play it again. So there you go. Right now, it's upward sloping. That's a positive. But again, the 200-week moving average is the true value, in my opinion. Very unpopular belief. And just kind of to show you, let's get off of Aikinashi. Let's go to candles. Let's go to the daily, weekly chart. Just as an example, chain link, right? Downward sloping, 200-week moving average. So that's not good, right? Upward sloping, 200-week moving average. Price never made a new all-time high. And then it started going downward sloping. You wouldn't want that. You wouldn't want to see that. It's slow and it's lagging. But the point of it is that if it does start the downward sloping, it would take some time. It would take even more time for the ship to get turned around. So that's why I say you wouldn't want to see it. Where's Cardano? Is it on here? Yeah, right above it. Duh. So again, from February 2022, upward sloping. It would take a long time for it to start being downward sloping. And now it is, right? It took from the peak started to slope downward. What is that? Almost 4 years. Call it 3 years, right? Before it starts to slope downwards. And here we are. Price is not going to the moon on Cardano as of right now. And it is downward sloping. This is the weekly chart. And so we'll see what happens. But that's Bitcoin. That's shorter term target 3. Price is letting the trending dots and the moving averages catch up, right? Support at target 3 for right now. And that's where we're at. What else? Yep, we covered that one. Again, target 3 out of 4 on. We talked about this way back here, right? Bitcoin on one of the exchanges, I think it was Binance, hit target 3, and futures did not because it was lagging. But the market bosses wouldn't want to see Bitcoin futures, ETFs, Bitcoin perpetuals, Bitcoin CVDs, Bitcoin, spot, right? All that to look differently and look really different. And it did. It was a whole target box difference, right? Because the wick came all the way down here. And in Bitcoin futures, it didn't. Lo and behold, it bounced up, and now they're all looking similar. They've all hit target 3, and now that's just a distant memory, right? People are already forgetting, right? Or they will forget. So that big move down on the 17th, that big move down on the 10th doesn't reflect on the futures. Now they've all hit target 3, right? So I pointed that out. I said way back here, I was like, I would be surprised if they allow them not to start to align in the future, right? So now they're aligned. So just wanted to point that out. See, Ethereum hit 4 out of 4 targets to the downside so far. where Bitcoin has only hit 3 out of 4 targets to the downside. And so letting the trading dots catch up, letting the moving averages catch up, still bearish as of right now on the weekly chart, pending sell signal. The week doesn't close until, let's see, you got Saturday and Sunday. So almost 2 full days remaining for the weekly close. But it's going to close. The odds are it's going to close with the weekly sell, right? And it's below the trading dots and all that stuff. So all right. So going back to the whole altcoins, right? Pending buy signals in some altcoins on the daily chart, while BTC.D is starting to drop. What you think? We covered it on yesterday's live stream, and we'll cover it again. I'm going to say at least a bounce with a potential of mini alt season. And I don't think the alts died, and it would take some time for the ship to get turned around for a full alt season, if ever, right? So I'm going to say, let's go conservative. Let's go bounce with possible mini alt season. I don't even know what we're going to consider that. What 300% pumps. So the bounces, we talked about it yesterday, and I think throughout the week that some of the bounces could be 80%. So it's still great. So some might consider that a mini alt season. I would consider a mini alt season like November 2024, where we saw a handful of coins pump 300 to 400%. So I'm going to say bounce for now. So I'm part of the 20% bounce. We could get into mini alt season, but some things would have to change, and then and maybe some altcoins do a mini alt season, and maybe some of them do the bounce. Maybe there's a meme coin or something that does a full alt season. I don't know. And then some alts may just have already died. So, but I selected bounce for now. So it really depends on definition, all that. And now we're going to talk about why, right? So if you're looking at the weekly chart, this to me is a mini alt season. November was great. But look at the difference. So here's the difference. And I pointed this out before, but you got this downward sloping weekly trending dots, right? Got this downward sloping weekly trending dots. Let's open this up a little bit. This is what I see, right? And there are bounces along the way. And when it's pretty far away from the trending dots, it could still have a nice bounce, but maybe not the mini alt season. Like this is what I consider mini alt season, and this would be a nice bounce, right? When it's coiling up more and more, it's not very good, but you can see it's kind of like coiling up right underneath the trending dots on the weekly chart, and it's getting tighter and tighter and tighter, and then pumps to the upside. Well, it's well below it, so to me, it would be more of like a potential bounce to the trending dots. That would only be, from if you looked at it from wick to wick to trending dots, still 55% bounce. From current price, it's less. It's 24% bounce, right? If it were to bounce like this, it's 122% bounce. But it's not a mini alt season where it comes all the way from wick to wick, 473%. Obviously, I didn't catch 474% of the move because I don't guess on wicks. I wait for probabilities and then sell into momentum, sell into key target areas, right? So 80% of the entire move is my goal. So the point is, it could in my opinion, could be the bounce to the trending dots and then coil and coil and coil and maybe even comes back up and retests the 200-week moving average, right? Um, that's kind of the way I look at it with an outside chance that we see a mini alt season. And then as time goes on, maybe we will see there a bigger move, right? A bigger move, a mini alt season, all that stuff. But maybe it takes some time to play out. It's too early to say. Let's see. Let's throw on some trend lines. The trend line there. There you go. That's better. Right? So, I mean, we're going to keep an eye on it, right? And of course, it could be like with altcoins, like next live stream, we could be talking about mini alt season, right? So, you've got this to watch on the weekly chart. The only thing is like, so if it goes through all that, right, you could see where how it could possibly play out is, say if it breaks through here, comes back for retests, maybe even another one just to really crush us all, and then puts in a lower high. And you can see why I would say that it would take some time to play out, right? So a bounce until proven otherwise, and then maybe a mini alt season, right? And what would that look like? Maybe if it's let's go full speculation here. Maybe it's we hit target one. Here, let's change that to orange. And then maybe we go I'm just eyeball test. Target 2, target 3, target 4, right? Maybe that's what we see. So a bounce is what I selected. Then maybe consolidate, and then a mini alt season. And then after that, if the mini alt season were to flip, say target 4, maybe the target 4 is too high. I don't know. If it flips target 4, then I would change to, hey, we're in full alt season. But so that's kind of the way I'm looking at it for altcoins. I'm remaining hopeful, right? But I'll wait for higher probabilities. And there's some altcoins that have gone all the way back down to like the very, very bottom, and it is in a downtrend, and it's below the trending dots, still bearish on the weekly, 2-week chart, all that stuff, right? But the daily chart is showing a possible bounce situation. So a bounce until proven otherwise. No pending buy signal yet, but we could see one in the near future. So bounce with maybe a mini alt season lurking in a couple of months. So if Bitcoin were to, I don't know, just pure speculation. If Bitcoin were to drop like, here, let's go to this chart. Over the next 30 days or so, if Bitcoin were to drop, and I'm not saying that it 100% is going to, but if it were to drop all the way down here, right? And then it goes through like a 2-month rally, like a 2-month rally from down here or wherever the bottom is on this first initial big move down, and say there's a 45 to 60 day rally, whatever it is, 90 days, I don't know, 72 days, right? Maybe that's when the bounce and then a consolidation, like say algo, and then we see a mini alt season for 2 or 3 months. I would love that. Like if I could get a 2 to 3 month, like we got a 1-month rally in November 2024, and it was awesome. It was more like 3.5 weeks, right? If we get a 2-month mini alt season uh, during a 2-month Bitcoin rally, then, but I think the rally is going to be lower. Um, I'll be there for it. I'll be there for it. I would love to play it. So that'd be great. And my mom, knowing her, she'd probably be playing it too. But right now, not yet. Not yet. Not yet. Let's see the bounce. Let's see the ship get turned around. Let's see it flip back above the weekly trending dots. There's a lot to happen. But again, Bitcoin, not Bitcoin, well, Bitcoin too, but altcoins flip quickly. So, by Monday, who knows what we're talking about. But that's just kind of like a crazy idea that I was thinking about. And kind of lines up. And the reason why it kind of lines up with this, right? So this is the daily chart, but it was drawn on the weekly chart. So over here, was talking about, I think it was in September, I drew out this scenario, right? And this would be like down to here, probably like a mini alt season, right? And this would be like a full alt season, I think, right? Like a 3-month just rip to the upside, 3 months. This would be like a 2-month like a 2-month rip to the upside. So that would be more of like, so these scenarios would be more like a mini alt season, and some altcoins might feel like a full alt season and some may not. So it just depends on which charts you're looking at. But a move like this would feel a lot more, it'd feel like mini alt season / alt season, and give us like 2 to 3 months. That'd be amazing. So we'll see. We're gonna keep an eye on it. So we had this. The one way I didn't draw it out, this is just like we're watching it. It's an uptrend until it's not. But so far it's done this. So if it does come up somehow and then comes back down, I mean, that lines up with everything I just. What happened? what what happened? Uh, um, right? If it did something like that, I would expect a much bigger move on altcoins, and it would take some more time to play out. Of course, could have that bounce, right? The altcoin bounce, and then come back up for like that, right? So that's always a thought too. So you get that bounce, and that would kind of line up more with like drawing out algos, bounce, then consolidation. So if altcoins came down, let's get us all excited. Let's fake us out, break us some more on the altcoins. Obviously waiting patiently on the altcoins, but I'm just saying us as on Twitter, X, and YouTube. Breaks down, catches some altcoins, catch like a 40 to 60% bounce, who knows, and then comes back up, fakes us all out, and then we get a mini alt season like December, January, maybe, or January and February, whatever it is. I don't know. That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. So that's what we're kind of watching, right? Still watching it on the weekly chart. I drew it out back in September, this idea, right? That'd be kind of more like a nice bounce. This would be kind of more of a mini alt season. And to me, this would be like a full 3-month altcoin season, right? So be interesting. So, but we're going to take it level by level and day by day. And that's all we can do. What else? VIX. Let's look at some of the daily altcoin bounces. Ethereum, no. Algo, getting back above the trending dots, coming in for potential bounce, right? And maybe the bounce is all the way to the 200-week moving average. I mean, that would be By the time it has like a buy signal, maybe 40% bounce, right? Could come back up in the 200-week moving average. Possible. Possible. But let's see what else. Cardano still way below. Some are going to move faster than others. Some will be leading, some will be lagging. So if you miss one, look for a lagging one that has a similar chart, and it may or may not hit similar targets, right? So you got the dollar. Well, for you, what are the top 2 confirmations that BTC peaked this cycle and that we're headed to the bears? I mean, it's a collective thing, right? As a swing trader, I don't wait for it. I wait, I play it as a local top, and then in hindsight, the local top becomes the top. You could look at the weekly sell signals, but so if you got longer term bearish divergence plus weekly sell signals plus looking at 3-week MACD bearish crossover, you're looking at the final one would be the monthly MACD bearish crossover, right? But it hasn't happened. Most likely it won't happen till the end of November. And maybe it happens like even early December because it's very slow moving, right? But by then, price is probably 30 to 40% from the top. But you cannot deny a monthly MACD crossover in the higher the higher time frames, like RSI sell signal on the monthly chart would all be the final nail in the coffin, but it's really late, right? So if you go here, you go like the monthly chart. Monthly sell signal is way down here, right? Candle close below the train dots price would be below $90,000, right? So next month maybe it's up at 94,000. So a monthly candle close below the trailing dots. You have the longer term bearish divergence. This is looking like a monthly lower high, and this month closed lower, so that's a lower low. So get an RSI sell signal on the monthly, and the last time that happened was back in 2021. Yes, price did bounce higher, but and created bearish divergence, so it was different. But this time there's the bearish divergence first, and then if it would be a RSI sell signal, right? So just as like this buy signal on the monthly is really late. I was buying January 2023, and the buy signal happened November 2023, right? And now 2 years later, we could see an RSI sell signal. So that's pretty late. Like the final nail in the coffins, right? The monthly MACD. I posted a chart because this is such a slow moving on the monthly. But if you change the monthly to even 9, it's already crossing on the monthly, and it hasn't done that since December or January 2022, right? So it's crossing right now. But way before that, you can see the bearish histogram, the bearish divergence on the histogram. You can see the bearish divergence on the histogram, and then it went red, and then it went red, right? So it's crossing over. Like you have to change the setting on the monthly from 12 to 9. But if you change the setting down to 9, and earlier in the month, you had to change it to like 5 to get the crossover. Now it's only to 9. So it's in progress. You can see that the monthly never crossed below it in the entire run. Now it's crossing over, right? So if you need if you need like real confirmation, it'd be this monthly crossover, which isn't going to happen until the end of November, right? So, and if you look at it, if you change this to even lower, see, 8, 7, that's getting like closer to like it never crossed over, and it got very close here to never crossing over. And when it crossed over, that was the bear market. And then you can see like it wasn't lagging as much. So you got like the close of March, and it crossed over here for the bullish, right? So bullish all this way, and now it's bearish, right? So what? No, it would be that I would expect you know, some of those targets to be hit the way I was drawing them out visually. I don't know. Yep, you got it. So that's Bitcoin monthly. It's already crossing over. A lot would have to happen for it to uncross. But what's happening is relative strength is leaving, right? Relative strength is leaving while price is going higher. Eventually, price catches up to the relative strength. The histogram is decreasing while price is going higher, and eventually price catches up. So, and it happens quickly, right? Happens a lot faster. So this is a monthly chart. It would take some time to play out. The month hasn't even closed yet. It's only 1 out of 4 weeks so far, right? But I'd be very surprised if the monthly chart doesn't retest retest the trending dots at this month or next month, right? So that's lower, and then if you get a crossover, yeah, short term it could bounce. It could definitely bounce short term, but overall long term trend is bearish, right? So expect bounces along the way. Expect short squeezes along the way. But all of those bounces I'd be expecting to sell off. It would take some time for the ship to get turned around. This took from this crossover. Let's see. Just call it there to there. What did it take? Like at least 13, 14 months, right? This bullish crossover took what? 2.5 years, right? So it takes time for things to get turned around. So I'm not expecting a bounce back recovery and we're going to $250,000 Bitcoin by the end of the year. This tells a whole different story. We were bullish down here. The histogram was showing us signs, right? The weekly chart had bullish divergence. The ship was turning around from November to December 2022. Talked about it. I covered it. November, December. January 4th, there was a buy signal on the daily chart, and it looked like the weekly chart could have a buy signal in the near future. So I took a first 5x leverage Bitcoin at 16,800. Hindsight, that turned out to be true. January 9th was the first weekly buy signal close, and then it's been in a bull run ever since, right? Bull run. But there was times where it could have been a local top that turned into something bigger. This could have been the local top that turned into something bigger, and now it's crossing over, right? So the local top plus all of these higher time frames reversing are showing that not confirmed on the monthly chart, but it's definitely trending that way. 3-week chart, right? Already back to the trending dots. If you get it, that's another thing that I pointed out on another chart was you could see that there was on the 3-week chart, price came back to the trending dots and bounced. Price came back from the trending dots and bounced. Once it closed, it was already in that bear market, right? Price came back to the trending dots and bounce. Price came back to the trending dots and bounce. Price is back to the trending dots. And if you get a candle close below it, that's going to look very similar to this bear market over here. So I also pointed out the bearish engulfing candles. This one with follow through. This one with follow through. Price went lower, right? I know there's the two that did not. So let's point them out. This one did not, right? But this one's already followed through, right? This one did not, right? But it was at the end of the bear market, right? This one did. This one did drop another 20-30%. This one did drop, another 50-60%. This one did drop another 60+% all the way down the bottom. This one did go down a little bit lower, but then reverse back around. So those are the higher time frames, right? The higher time frames, a 2-week chart. We're at 952. That's not a bullish looking 2-week chart. This would be a 2-week candle close below the trending dots, right? Here, let's change this back. Two-week chart had the bearish crossover. It doesn't happen often. Happened more this time, but you have bearish divergence going all the way back to February 2024 on the 2-week chart. You've got the histogram bearish divergence going all the way back to February 2024. You've got a pending RSI sell signal as well on this candle close. So, and relative strength is decreasing, right? So it was really high back at 88. And then that sell signal was at like 80. This one was at like 70. This one's going to be at 60. So the RSI sell signals are getting lower and lower. It's getting more and more bearish, right? So price goes up while relative strength is leaving, right? So the 2-week candle closes in 3 days. So a candle close like that, if you're looking at it, right? That is the end of a trend from December 2022. This trend is from December 2022, and it's ending, right? So you get a candle close in the next 3 days with RSI sell signal. Could it bounce? Absolutely. Absolutely. And could it put in a lower high? Yes, absolutely. We expect that. But this is a longer term trend break, right? This would even, be even more confirmation than the monthly, in my opinion. So it just depends what you're looking at. Weekly, all this bearish divergence, this last RSI sell signal, additional bearish divergence, and then this is a lower high. So that's like, for me, myself being more aggressive, that would be, this is the most, if you need confirmation, this is what I would be looking at, right? So you got the bearish divergence again, right? And then you got a lower high. And a close below here is confirmation of that lower high. So even if it bounces, right, and then towards the end of the month comes back down all the way down, that's a longer term correction is happening in progress, right? Longer term correction is in progress. This is all bearish divergence. Price peaks kept making higher highs, and while relative strength continues to decrease. So that is, you get a weekly close below 50 and call that confirmed for me. 3 days. But and then, watch it bounce, right? Yep. Let all the training dots, let all the moving averages, all that stuff catch up to it. But that's what I'm looking at. And it's easier to visualize if you take off RSI, right? Take that dot off. So you got the bearish divergences showing on the indicator. You've got, it's not an upward sloping buy signal in the weekly chart. It's a downward sloping sell signal with lower high confirmation incoming with a lower low. So that's what we're looking at. Hopefully that answers your questions. Yeah, you missed it. I talked about it. I talked about Bitcoin dominance. It has nothing to do with $125,000 price. Talked about it. Boom. What else? So yeah, this is the unpopular belief, but this is just what the charts are showing, right? It's not the bottom. It's not the ending of this correction. It's the beginning on the higher time frames. The beginning of the correction has started on higher time frames. Maybe on shorter time frames, like a 5-minute chart, 1 hour chart, 4-hour chart, daily chart, whatever, expect bounces. But on the higher time frames, it's reversing. The weekly confirmations are happening soon. 2-week chart is happening soon. 3-week chart and then monthly chart will be the final, right? And that's 3 weeks away. A lot can happen in the next 3 weeks. So it's not the beginning. The bottom's not in my opinion. It's the beginning of the correction. So for all those reasons just mentioned. What else? Lo and behold, right? Lo and behold, here we go. Ooh, that's a bearish engulfing weekly candle if I've ever seen one on the TQQs. But let's go on the daily chart. I had to close out today. My $107 TQQ put was closed out today on the final day. Oh my god! In hindsight, I should have closed it out when I was up. I was up big, but I didn't close it out. Thought about it, then I think I got distracted over a weekend. I don't like to hold it that long over a weekend, anyways. When you're up that big, and TQQ is a wild animal, and there's no lower high yet. Blah blah blah, and so I made a little bit of money, but I was up. What was I up? I was up like 150%. So giving back gains isn't fun. Giving back gains, but had to close it out. It ended on it expired today, right? So closed it out, but still worked out. Just not what I had planned. So then you have to like re-enter, right? I mean, I could have extended it, but rather look for a fresh move or wait for a bounce, maybe back up into the trending dots and then attack again. Tesla, we covered this yesterday on the dang, I gotta get going faster. I got a lot to do and it's a Friday. We talked about this, we covered it. The breakout starting to look like a double top, possibly. It was too early to call it. We did point out the bearish engulfing candle, but it hadn't closed yet because it was in yesterday morning, and there was no sell signal yet or anything like that. But there was bearish divergence as well. Had broke down from the trend line, came all the way back up, pushed up, and then broke back down again. And then in hindsight, it gapped down, and now we have a pending sell signal on Tesla. So it's through one target already. You got 4 more targets here. You got a smaller gap here, smaller gap there. And then we'll see what happens after that. But seems like the retracement is on for Tesla. The targets have been set. One's been hit already. SMCI continues to crash all the way back to the 200-week moving average. NVIDIA looks similar to Tesla. Google may look like both of those in the near future. Meta leading the way of the Magnificent Seven. Breaking news, small gap filled. Did create a new gap up here, but when it gets filled, we don't know. This 13% gap hasn't been filled since February 2024. So it could be years. Not all gaps get filled, but they work great as targets. But it could be years before a gap gets filled. And that gap lines up with the 200-week moving average. So you all know my thoughts on the 200-week moving average by now. So the correction is on. When it'll fill more gaps, we don't know. Whether this gap, or this gap, right? NASDAQ targets have been set. Had yesterday's pending sell signal confirmed with the sell signal. Trending dots are still up at 25,600. Expect bounces along the way, but big move down today. Someone asked me about QQQ, and I was like, it looks the same as the NASDAQ because it's based off of the NASDAQ. So, you got the 200-week moving average down here at 410. Eyeball tests, I don't know. I'd have to look at the boom just real quick, right? Go back. Yeah, it's pretty close. UNH filled that gap. Amazon probably going to look similar. PLTR looks similar. The sell signal yesterday. SP500 looks similar. Sell signal yesterday. SPY probably the same thing. Russell 2000 was leading the way by a few days. Typically does on a correction. And Bitcoin usually leads the way. And on a bigger correction, it did on end of 2021 as well. So Bitcoin led the way, then the Russell led the way, and then the NASDAQ and SP 500 followed after that. Dow Jones pending sell signal seems like it's lagging by a day. Microsoft already had a sell signal days ago. Apple could follow the same pattern, right? So dollar, one target so far. ANF still in a bear market. The market bosses giveth, the market bosses taketh. Woo! Dow Jones, VIXOM, SQQQ, pending buy signal on SQQ, pending buy signal on the UVIX. What else? TLT, not much. TEL, talked about that already. 28 cents. What did someone say? 28 cents? Oh, no. 0.028. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah. 0.028. Those targets didn't even get hit. Those longer term targets didn't get hit, right? None of those got hit. Those are all potentials that never happened, right? 0.028. I mean, a lot would have to happen to get to that, right? Is that what you bought it at? Ugh, probably. So you bought it at 0.028 and been holding it. I mean, if it did, that would be massive. But that'd be a massive boost. But if it was a full alt season, maybe. But if it's like a mini alt season or bounce, like maybe 0.009, 160% bounce, right? So a lot would have to happen, I think, to get all the way back up to these type of levels. First of all, you got to break 0.01. You're gonna have to break 0.00. You're gonna have to break 007 over here, right? So, I mean, that's a lot of work. It's done it in the past, but doesn't mean it's gonna happen in the future. I don't know. I don't know. Let's see, did I miss anything? We'll keep looking at the watch list too. Gert, Jan, Tenhove. Yeah, I was looking at Filecoin. Let's see, Filecoin. Zcash we already looked at before. I have it on here, but my whole watch list got kind of messed up. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, 88% so far. Pending buy signal on the weekly chart. Wow. 90% today. So the bounce, like we talked about, the bounce could be massive, right? You come in from a buy signal all the way to 200% bounce on some of these, right? So for sure, right? This would be like a bounce. So if you got from this point to this point, right? And say it's already hit like target 1, probably target 2. Let me eyeball it. Maybe target 4 is up there like that. So from the buy to like maybe target 4 and or the 200-week moving average could be a massive play, right? Could be a massive play. Like we literally just mapped this out on Algo. So that would be a massive bounce. 90% bounce. That was a lot of work for one drop of water. That's how desperate I am. So yeah, pending buy signal on the weekly chart. Things could flip quickly, right? But it's a bounce till proven otherwise. Could bounce all the way up to, like I said, the 200-week moving average. Maybe consolidates, and then maybe we see a mini alt season after that. That would be incredible. So some of them are going to move sooner than others. Dot, I was looking at Dot earlier too. It's up 20%. Pending buy signal on Dot right now. And from this pivot point, even like a target 4 would be a big bounce, right? So even from a buy signal to here, 118, maybe it comes all the way up to like 146. So I have to strongly start thinking about a bounce that could turn into a mini alt season. So we'll see what happens. Filecoin flipped the weekly very quickly, right? So all things consider, we may see some opportunities for a big bounce and or turn into a mini alt season. Could you please chart silver? I played futures from mid 30s to 50s, so well you can see the bull market continues your opinion. Silver, and then I got to call it 10 minutes, hour and 10 minutes. So let's see. I got to regain my energy, and then I've got things I need to knock out before the nanny leaves, and I got to go get her cash. Oof. Where is silver? My whole watch list got messed up. I have to go back in and organize it again. I hit one accidental change percentage button and didn't revert it back, and then the whole thing is gone. There's gold. There it is, finally. So this is the weekly chart. It's still currently bullish, but you have some signs, right? RSI sell signal in the weekly chart. So to make new all-time highs, like it's going to consolidate probably for like this is the next week of it. Seems like it wants to consolidate. Doesn't mean it can't bounce, but or put in a new high and create bearish divergence while there's a RSI sell signal. So we talked about this on previous live streams where on gold and silver, price is over here dropping down. And I said the higher time frames are still ultra bullish. The monthly chart, the 3-week chart, the 2-week chart, the weekly chart are all still ultra bullish. So any breakdown, whether it retraces back down here or not, could pump all the way back up, create bearish divergence. We don't know if it will or not. And then the lower high would be the higher probability that it's a longer term correction. Way too early to call that. Or since it's all ultra bullish, it goes through a correction and maybe consolidates more and then breaks out to new all-time highs, right? So it's just kind of a wait and see, but it's still potentially buy the dip season while the higher time frames are still ultra bullish. But that can change on silver. Silver futures, silver, it happens quickly, right? It happens quickly. So, but then you got the monthly chart, still ultra bullish. So seems like it's still buy the dip season. And maybe the buy the dip season, you'll get less and less confidence over time. This was a lot more confidence as it's trending hard upward. And it could remain that way. It's still ultra bullish on the monthly chart. So, seems like it's still buy the dip season. Because if we look, let me sure. Let me just get rid of all that. So, still an uptrend. This is still an uptrend on the monthly chart. There's no bearish histogram on the MACD. Let's see. No bearish divergence on long term, right? Not saying that there has to be or there will be, but there's not. That's the monthly 2-week chart, ultra bullish still. 3-week chart, ultra bullish still. So I definitely wouldn't be shorting this myself. No way. Weekly chart, RSI sell signal, but could just be a consolidation, right? So if there is a consolidation, like say to the maybe price lets the trending dots catch up, whatever price that is, and then it goes on to make, lets it catch up over the next weeks or months, and then makes its next move higher. It's possible, right? So that's all I got right now. Right now, it's if you saw like a RSI buy signal and we're back above the trending dots, then we could make that next move higher. So, woo, yeah, Mike G, Mike G, yeah. So, higher time frames are still bullish. you get that next like RSI buy signal, or you start getting candle closes back above the trending dots, because you already had a buy signal here, but start getting back above. Uh, just caution that we still have a RSI sell signal on the daily. We did have a RSI sell signal on the weekly. Price is still below the trending dot, so this current correction, patience is the name of the game right now, right? So, with the bias of still looks like a buy the dip opportunity, right? So, but buy the right dip. With that, thanks for all of your support. Thank you for smashing the like button. TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. And or some of you in a different country, like Mike G, it might be Saturday already. Good morning. I don't even know what time it is there. I always forget. And so with that, hope you have a good weekend. Spend some time with the family. We've got a 4-year-old birthday to go to this weekend. Woo-wee. We got family pictures this weekend. Woo-wee. And we've got Minnesota Vikings on Sunday. Woo. So we got a big kid weekend lined up for our 16-month-old, and she loves to party and dance, and it takes her like 5 to 10 minutes to like warm up. But then once the music's going, the kids are playing, she gets rocking and rolling. So it's fun to watch. But yeah, with that, thanks, Kurt. Appreciate it. Everyone have a good weekend. Spend some time with the family. Get outdoors. I know my daughter loves to be outdoors, so we got to take her outside a lot. And with that, we'll see you on the next live stream. Thank you.